Hello, good morning everyone. So today is our fourth video for LAX 2049. So in this video we're going to discuss about our third section of our news, which is technology. So we're going to introduce ourselves first. I'm Cindy, metric number 189602.
My name is Cheng Lin Qian, metric number 187793.
My name is Siti Azhar, 189690.
My name is Tharrane George, metric number 188717.
My name is Naomi Martin, metric number is 190104.
My name is Kok Hock Meng, metric number 188723.
My name is Fakhree, metric number 190401.
My name is Zi Wen, metric number 18521.
Okay, so without further ado, let's start our discussion about technology in best society. Yeah. So who have any idea regarding the recent or the most common technology used in our vet industry?
I would like to share about one types of therapy that is used in dog. It is not, it's quite common, but it's not very widely used, and it has been started since 18th century. So actually, this therapy is called aquatic therapy, or called hydrotherapy. It is actually used in human before, but it has extended to be used in animals such as dogs and horse. So there is generally two types of hydrotherapy. One is they allows the animals to swim, and the other type is allow the animals to walk on the treadmills. So why this type of therapy being used is the purpose is one is for preventive purpose, which means they allow the animals to maintain their fitness and conditioning through the exercise in the water. So the other type is meant for treatment purpose, which is they are targeting the dogs with joint pain or arthritis. Because when the animals or the dogs are in recumbent position, meaning they are not able to move, their muscle tone is easily lost. So to maintain their muscle tone, it is effective to allow them to exercise in a non-weight bearing environment, which means that when the dog is walking or exercise in the water buoyancy will help to carry their weight. So when they are walking inside in the water resistance will also allow a more effective way to exercise their muscle. So this therapy is quite expensive, so they are generally used in private hospitals and clinics. So this is what this is type of the technology used in veterinary field for now, which is very effective and quite famous. That's all from me.
I see there's also cases of being used on equine.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like very nice because horses, they tend to lie down when
Yeah.
they're in pain. So I think it's a very good technology. Yeah.
Talking about the horse, there is another recent technology, but it's not been used in Malaysia and it's not really used. It's only used in UK because it's very expensive, very expensive.
The equipment itself is very expensive.
Yeah, what micro fractures detections means, because if we use X-ray, we can't detect the small fractures. So by using this technology, actually we can detect all the small fractures before it's become to more serious injury. Because this technology is actually similar with the earthquake that we used to detect the earthquake. And this one, it's to prevent, if we can detect before the race, we detect the horse have small fractures, then we will let the horse to rest and more for the treatments and for healing. Because the horse, once they have the serious injury, they will utilize the horse because like horse is they are born to run.
Yeah, the
And,
most important
yeah.
part of their body is
So
running.
that's why they invent this technology because if we X-ray we can detect the thing. Yeah.
Okay, this would be a what type of technology then?
We call it microscopic fracture. Microscopic fracture detection. Yeah.
The reason why it's still not in Malaysia because it's
It's-
kind of new.
Yeah, it's kind of new. It's kind of new and it's very recent.
She said the technology is normally is to detect earthquake, right? We don't have this kind of technology. We don't use it.
And we need experts to operate the thing, right?
Yeah, we need expert. Plus, like Malaysia, like our equine industry not
Not as
So,
not
developed.
yeah not developed like American country.
So I have another news regarding the genetic engineering in veterinary medicine, which will be the productions of the recombinant viral vector vaccines. So basically, this industry began with the viral vaccines whereby they use the viruses. Normally, the virus they use in this technology will be the pox virus, herpes virus, adenovirus, or it could be either retrovirus. Basically, they use pox virus because it is large in size and we can put in a lot of genome in it, so it can be a good recombinant vector. And another one will be the herpes virus. We use herpes virus in this technology because of its latency characteristic. So let's see how it works. Basically, the DNA sequence coding for the foreign gene will be inserted into the viral vector along the viral genome, and the resultant recombinant vector is then introduced into the cell by infecting with the virus to generate a recombinant virus that expresses the foreign gene as a vaccine antigen. So I would say that the recombinant virus vaccine is a live virus. So when we see the advantages of the live vaccine, it will be able to boost up both the cell-mediated immunity, at the same time it also will be able to boost up the humoral immunity, and the onset of the reaction will be fast enough and it will last longer in the body for a longer period of time, and it is also will be able to produce the heterogeneous protection for multi-diseases. Yeah.
Mentioning about vaccines, there's a recent technology that they use to detect viral infected animals with those vaccinated. Because vaccination, they actually use attenuated virus and then they inject into the animal's body. So how do we actually differentiate the real infected animal and those vaccinated if there's outbreak? So basically, the DIVA vaccine is called differentiating infection in vaccinated animals vaccine. It is a technology used by differentiating, because virus actually composed of non-structural protein and structural protein. So in DIVA vaccine, they actually only extract the structural protein of the virus. They didn't include the non-structural protein part of the virus in the vaccine. So in those infected animals, they actually have both non-structural protein and structural protein. Thus, by doing non-structural protein tests, you can actually differentiate the infected and the vaccinated animals. So why is it so important? Is actually in outbreak cases, we can actually differentiate them so that we don't have to cull those vaccinated animals. We can actually minimize the farmers' losses by not culling the vaccinated animals, only cull the infected animals. Yeah.
In what condition do you usually like we implement the DIVA?
DIVA, it usually implement for diseases that causes big outbreaks, such as avian influenza, or the most recently happened in Malaysia is the FMD, foot and mouth disease. Yeah,
Because
zoonotic diseases.
If you count all the animal, including after the vaccinated animal, you are lost a lot.
Yeah. So we
Economic
actually,
loss.
by using this, you can actually minimize the losses. And also, of course, for the welfare of the animal, by not, actually cull them those that is not infected.
Besides that, I also read something that is like similar to the what vaccine just now said by Tharrane. Is we call it as the gene therapy. So because we know that some of the diseases that are linked to the gene because of the gene mutation, like what I read about there's mutation on the SOD1 genes linked to the disease in dog, which will associated with the amyotrophic lateral sclerosis. So what the research done is they put the single spinal fluid injection, but it's a modified virus because they can't really go into the gene of the animal and modify it. So they use this virus, they transfer into the spinal fluid, and use this genetic material to turn off the expression of the gene. So the feral gene expression will not be expressed out through the animal. So the animal gets secure from this disease. And so far, this disease, all the animals that resist this gene therapy has survived and lived happily. So they hope that if continue use this gene therapy can work at the animal, they maybe can transfer this technique to the human also. And also, another disease is hemophilia. So it's like cannot produce enough protein that clot the blood. So they also produce a gene therapy that produced by the University of Pennsylvania. He used the modified virus that containing the correct version of the gene, then that using for the clot produce the clotting factor. Yeah. They also inserted to the animal, then they suppress the feral gene, then they express the correct one. Yeah.
So I have something quite similar to yours also, because nowadays they just publish created a pattern for CRISPR, which is they call it CRISPR stands for CRISPR, and Cas9. Cas9 is the enzyme for it. So since it's called clustered regularly interspaced short palindromic repeats. So it's actually obtained from bacteria. It's actually a gene editing system of the bacteria that they just kind of extracted it out, and then they use it for genome editing. And then, so since this genome editing system is actually applicable to anything, so you can edit any gene that you want. Like for example, you want to change you have this gene disease, like for example cystic fibrosis, something like that, and then or you have cancer. So it's very simple. You just take your DNA, the DNA with the disease. So you put it along with the CRISPR gene, then you can just instruct the CRISPR gene to use their enzyme and cut the. So you just use the CRISPR to cut the disease portion, the gene that causes the disease and then you change it to another new gene which doesn't cause the disease. So and then you insert it back into the animal, and then the animal will start to reproduce using that DNA. So in the end, the cancerous cells, they will have the healthy genes, and then they won't be producing the cancerous cells anymore. So CRISPR is quite good, but from what I've read, they're still researching on whether how effective it could be, because that the gene editing process is, it's very, how do you say, it's very complicated, because not, it can happen on one individual, but they want to do it on a mass production system. Like you want to improve their efficacy, like the cows, they want the cows to produce, for example, only male fetus for their mass production system. But so far it has not been very progressively going well, but it's still under research.
Maybe it's because they need to use a lot of modern, and also it's quite expensive to carry on research in a mass production. So I think that's the yeah.
But if on individuals, then it would be easier. So anyone else?
Next one, I want to talk about dog wheelchair. So there's this group called Dog Wheelchair Malaysia, because this founder, he actually adopted a disabled dog, and before this disabled dog was to be put down because of the disability, because the dog was dragging and then causing a lot of skin injury. Right, and then so what happened is that this founder actually came up with the idea of to DIY a wheelchair using PVC pipes, and because at that time when you go to the market and you actually want to buy a dog wheelchair, it actually costs more than 1,000 ringgit, and with this DIY wheelchair, it only costs like at a starting price of 300 plus, so it's considered way cheaper than the normal one. And then after that, apart from that, is that if the dog is disabled, people tend to have a different impression on it, and then they will actually abandon the dog and everything, and this kind of contradict with their welfare, because they have the right to survive also, right?
So I'm here going to share about MRI, which is one of the diagnostic material or tools that's being used in the veterinary world, other than the microscopic fracture, just now seen by stain, in order to check any kind of bone fracture or anything that's related to fractures. So this MRI actually is the full name of it is magnetic resonance imaging. So this technique is used in radiology to form pictures of the anatomy and the physiology processes in the body of the animal in order to check if any abnormalities. For example, this MRI is very good for veterinarians to use it to check for the bone fractures just now, or even in the brain structure, soft tissue structures like the brain or your liver. So what this MRI actually detecting, it's actually detecting hydrogen atoms. So as you know, in the body of the animal, in any living things, there are fluids like water, and there's some sort of fats. So all those things, they have abundant in hydrogen atoms. So whenever you use MRI and you see structures and they're actually abundance of hydrogen atoms, so you can differentiate all the structures based on the amount of the hydrogen atoms. Like the water in fact contain a lot of hydrogen atoms. Water maybe in the blood vessel, fats maybe in animal can have fats. In the liver, for example, in the liver they have less hydrogen atoms, so you can see it less. Then if it's fatty liver, then you see the liver, the location of the liver, you know the location of the liver, and then you see the liver is very clear, like you can see in MRI that it can be the hepatic lipidosis kind of disease in a dog, or cat, or any kind of animal. So what I'm trying to say here is magnetic resonance imaging MRI is one of the best techniques in order for us to diagnose a disease before we do any surgery or any treatment to give it to the animals using my best nowadays. But it's kind of expensive other than x-rays and CT scan radiography. So that's all.
Alright, I think there's tons of ideas on regarding the technology used in vet industry. So we have Lin Qian talking about hydrotherapy, myself talking about Diva vaccine, Siti talking about microscopic fracture detection, Tharrane talking about genetic engineering, Naomi talking about CRISPR, Kok Hock Meng talking about DIY wheelchair, we have Fakhree talking about MRI, and lastly, Zi Wen talking about gene therapy. So, what are the what are the two news about technology that we want to include in our for the section 3?
I think we can include, combine maybe genetic engineering from Tharrane, Diva, and also gene therapy in one news.
Means that we divide into the internal and external. Internal is all about the mechanism that involve therapy, involve your body mechanism. But the external therapy is like the hydrotherapy, the wheelchair, all the outside one. The MRI also. I think there's a two
In the
news.
second one, maybe we can choose which attract more readers, that which can help them to gain knowledge also.
Because if you were to like separate external, it's like too many to fit in one, you know. Because we at last we're gonna like publish a one-page news. So I don't think if you include everything, you can actually fit in one column. So which one do you think that will attract more readers to?
Lin Qian's topic is very
Yeah.
interesting. Not everyone know, and people read like
Because of obesity in human.
yeah, animal has this kind of physiotherapy.
Another one.
Sounds quite luxury.
Yeah.
So one is hydrotherapy, another one.
Yeah.
Genetic. And we came up with a conclusion.
Yeah. So we would like to conclude that we choose the hydrotherapy and also genetic engineering that comprise of the vaccines and all that related to genes in one section. So yeah,
That's all.
from that we would like to end our discussion. Thank you.
Thank you.